Well, welcome to Beans, Brooms and Bread for July. Let's get a plot tour on. We've had a heat wave, we've had threats of hosepipe bans, and now we have threats of thunderstorms today. Let's go and have a quick look on the plot before all the rain comes down. Go and have a look. So July's been an absolutely weird month for me. I've not had a video for quite a while, so a few bits and bats in work life which have cropped up, but going to get down now, which meant we've still been able to get down to the allotment and get things underway. So we've what did we have last month? Can't remember. We had peas, obviously. We had obviously the potatoes that had gone in. We had the kohlrabi and stuff. So we've got some updates on all those that we've got this month. We've got some plans also. We've got some stuff. This is a great transition month as well, July. This, loads of harvesting to be done, but also if you kind of keep on it with some of your sowing as well, you can keep with the crops and the harvesting throughout the rest of the year and over looking towards sort of like your hungry gap into the colder months of next season. So we're going to have a quick tour now. We're going to have a run around and see how things are looking, and hopefully you stay to the end for a bit of an update on something a bit special. So here at the front of the plot, obviously we had the first and second early potatoes and salad potatoes, and we've had not a great harvest off the first earlies, I have to say. Those were the Swift variety. They got knocked back, was it once, twice, three times with some of those frosts that we had, but yeah, we got about maybe 3 or 4 potatoes off the Swift plants. But the next ones after that were, I think, we had Pentland Javelin, and I think we had some British Queens as well. So we've been pulling those up, and we had a much better harvest on those. I did a quick picture on those, which I put onto Instagram the other day when we dug up some of those, and also got this blinking thing right through one of my best potatoes. Couldn't believe it. It's always the way, isn't it? You get your best potato and you go and stick a fork through it. But I'll stick a picture up now of what we managed to get from one row, which wasn't too bad. It was I should have weighed actually. I might bring them down to the plot and give it away because we've not had a potato since then. Excuse the plane. Someone's off on holiday. So yeah, we've pulled up all these first and second early potatoes. Not a bad harvest this year. Again, I think we're struggling with the fertility on the soil. Really want to get a manure delivery this year. Also, some of the discussions about dig and no dig. We dig this part of the plot, incorporate some chicken manure pellets and organic potato fertilizer at the time when we put them in, and I don't know, we've had a very funny season with the weather, very cold at the beginning with the frost, then we had incredible dry sort of drought conditions. Maybe comment below how your potatoes been. My experience this year has been not a great yield, but then it's horses for courses, isn't it? So yeah, these have been dug out. Now what we're left with now are I think we've got Charlottes on this row here. Oh, International Kidney. That was the other variety, otherwise known as Jersey Royals, I believe. International Kidney. So yeah, they were a good yield, the International Kidney. So I think we might go with them next year. So what we're left now with that row there is the rest of the British Queens, and then the Charlottes, which are salad potato. Plants have gone over now, sort of dried. Some are still going, so I'll probably work my way along the rest of this row here on the Charlotte potatoes. We have pulled a few of the plants on the Charlottes, and I've got to say they are by far the best performer this year so far. So always keep Charlottes in your routine. After that, we've got this Alouette variety, which is, in fact, I think that even there might be Alouette or Cares Pink. We'll work it out anyway. There's main crop potatoes at the back, so they're not due to come out for a while. So, like I said at the start, good month for starting to think about transitioning into other crops. So what we've got here is the leeks. So we've got a row of leeks here, which we've put in 2 double row. I will keep the bed open with a small sort of 1 to 1.5, 2 foot path maybe. Obviously we've now got this ground clear here where the fork is, and I think we'll probably be putting some beetroots and maybe a row of carrots in just before we get to the end of the month. I know we're late doing some of these things, but experience tends to show that it's not, you will get a result, it's just questionable how much yield you'll get. So anyway, fingers crossed, some beetroot and carrot in there. But for the leeks, I'm gonna leave them for now uncovered. We did have, I think, allium leek minor last year when I put some in quite late, around August, September time. So I'm going to keep those uncovered, and we've got the little hoops that we can put over, so we can keep them hopefully protected from the allium leek minor later on in the season. So skipping over the main crop potatoes there, we've had the kohlrabi. Now we've had loads of this. I thought this was all going to go to seed. Some have gone to seed, obviously there at the back, but as you can see there, we've had some absolute whoppers, and they're standing and holding quite well. It's there you go, a great one there. Look, see that little fella? Some absolutely brilliant ones, and there's another one there. So the I think the red variety has actually held better from going to seed than the white variety. So see how your mileage varies on that. I think we'll probably pull them up, and I think I may freeze them, but give them a prepare. But yeah, that's a really, really good harvest. We've had some great. You can see them in there, maybe. But also, what I've forgotten I had, and have gone over a little bit, was these cauliflowers. I honestly didn't remember planting these, but they have gone over a little bit. They've gone a bit mushy. They literally went from sort of this lovely, tight, little white curd head to that within about a day. So I think people have said, like, if you break the leaves over and kind of protect them a bit. So they have gone now. So got a few more sown, and I think I'll get them sown for, standing. Get a few sown for autumn, late summer planting. So yeah, happy with that. At least it shows you can grow cauliflowers in principle. But yeah, quite happy with the result. So not bad. Then after that, we've got the tomatoes. Now this is quite the stand of tomatoes I've put in here. That's quite a lot. Now this is this Florida weave system, kind of keeping them as upright as possible. I've not been nipping the shoots out because I want to try and get as many tomatoes as possible. So got them in, keep tying them up with the twine in between, but that is looking pretty good. Obviously with it being in ground, the watering's not been too bad, but look, we're seeming to get a few starting to ripen already there. Look, much better than the ones at home, and those ones there. So these are all the crimson sort of F1 variety. I do my heritage seed, but they can be a bit precious and a bit finicky. But like I say, the F1 varieties, if you need to use them, there's no reason why not. Tried them last year, and we've had a great result on that. So I'm really happy with that. So F1 variety, crimson. We've got plum, some beef, some cherries, some ordinary salad buns, but yeah, they're starting to turn just there. So yeah, that's quite a nice stand of tomatoes. That's a whole row. This is kind of the idea I want to get back to with the plot, is the idea of there's a path, it isn't covered, it does allow the weeds to come through, but generally speaking, by the time you've got a crop done and ready and can be taken out, they are going to seed, but they're not going to seed and dropping. So, and again with the potatoes, harvesting them, clearing the weeds, getting the mare's tail out and some of the more pernicious weeds does help. So keep the weed problem down. So yeah, not too bad. What I'm trying to do is go along with the swivel hoe on the paths and trying to sort of keep the weeds down as we go. So it's not working out too bad. It has been quite challenging this year. So I've covered a few spots with some tarpaulin. I'm not realistically going to be able to get into that spot to get more plants in, but what it has allowed is to be able to pull up all of the elephant garlic from the other end of the plot, and I'm really happy with this result so far. That is an absolute whopper of an elephant garlic. See, those are the corms, which, see, I don't get much joy sowing those as individual corms to get plants, but if you leave them in the ground, I think they do tend to work. So they might need that sort of, is it a vernalization process where they get some cold on them and then start to germinate. But that is an absolute stonking elephant garlic. Again, we have had problems with the white rot on all the onions and garlic this year, but like I say, elephant garlic doesn't seem to be too badly affected. So really happy with those. Try and get those lifted and taken home today. Get them cured at home. Really happy with that. That's by far the best allium result we've had this year. So very happy with that. So just standing in front of the tomatoes and cauliflowers, which I wouldn't have put down as having planted this year, but apparently we did. So if you like the video today, I'd be grateful if you give it a thumbs up. If you've got any comments, particularly on your potato harvest this year, then do make sure you put some in the comment section below. Or if you've got any questions, what varieties have I particularly used on the kohlrabi or the potatoes, or even on the tomatoes particularly, what particular varieties of the crimson ones we've sown this year, do put them down in the comments below and I'll get them answered. Do try and answer all your questions as when you put them in, as almost pretty much instantaneously. So do mark them out below. Cheers. So this was the peas, and it was mostly peas on this side, and then we had some of the earlier crops that we'd put under the cloches down on that side. So yeah, going to break up this ground, try and get some of this cleared. Don't know what we're going to put in here this year. So it was sort of peas this year. Don't know what we're going to get in here. Suggestions in the comment section, perhaps. I'm thinking, I've got plenty of brassicas, to be honest. For my suggestion, I've got plenty of brassicas at home which I'm potting on, so I think we might put some brassicas in this section. We might even, if I can get another tarpaulin down over that to try and kill the weeds, we might be able to get some couple of proper rows in and get them covered. But that isn't such a bad idea, at least for my suggestion anyway. For the cabbages, peas were good. And the broad beans. Yeah, broad beans, not a bad harvest. I did want to try and save them for some seed, the peas and the broad bean, but they all kind of went a bit rotten. We had that very dry spell, but then we had some absolute downpours, and the pigeons had an absolute field day with the peas over on this side. So it is what it is. It's very weedy. It's been basically as much as you can weed it when there's crops in the ground, since they were put in very early. But like I say, you've got to try and clear it when you can. Get rid of the weed problems as much as you like. Now, I don't know what this weed is. Can anybody identify this in the comments section? Quite a tall fella. Very good with the horseflies and I think beneficial insects though. So I'm kind of a bit loath to cut it down. It does seem to come back from a fairly significant taproot. So I don't know. Answers on a postcard below. And then here at the back end, we've got sort of what I like to call sort of our Mediterranean veg bed. We've got they are late, I know. We put in the courgettes. Germination on courgettes has been very patchy for me again this year. They weren't very strong, so particularly some of the, sort of your normal Genovese, the Bolognese variety, which is quite of a sound of a stubby one. I really like that Bolognese courgette. Really bad germination on it, but they are coming up now. And we've had a few which have extra sown as well. Might be able to see, yeah, just down there, a little fella there, germinating in ground, which has been a little bit better. Yeah, there's another one there. So might have to throw down a little bit of, I think we've had a bit of slug damage on that. So yeah, I think if we're going to get anything, we should maybe put a few slug pellets down. After that, we've did get the climbing French beans in. We've got Blue Lake, Borlotti, and here we've got some runner beans. I've been giving them a water with the tomato feed at the same time as the tomatoes, but like I say, they're looking a bit busy. This is the thing. These are from sowing we did to get, good sturdy plants, get them all nice and strong, so they don't get mullered by slugs at the plot when they germinate. And then there was a direct sow. Look at the difference. All the foliage nice and glaucous, really nice and green, some good tendrils. It's just one of those things. I just don't understand sometimes how you can get so much difference from a direct sown plant compared to some that you've done as a transplant. But you do these things with a plan in mind to try and beat the pests, and sometimes it's just a question of just sticking a seed in. But no, that's not looking too bad at all. So yeah, should get a decent harvest before we finish the season off them, hopefully. At least we'll get fresh beans. Whether we'll get dry ones off the Borlotti, that's another question entirely. And then down here with the cloches, again, we did have some, like I say, very hot weather, and we managed to put in some of the pepper plants, the King of the North ones, which is like that one there, not looking too bad, which is coming along, keeping them also fed. We did get a pretty established couple of plants which we wanted to try and see if we could get a decent transplant of a decent sized planting, and we have got some little peppers on it, and there's some new ones coming through as well. So yeah, not too bad. We'll see. Little jalapeno at the end there. Jalapeno. So we'll see. If we'd got them in earlier, I think I'd be much more assured of a harvest. But these are apparently kind of a long, sort of bull's horn sort of variety called Thor. So they're not going to be mad. That's not a bad one now. See, that's not a bad one. I take it as a snack pepper size. So might try and see if I can overwinter that one. That's not a bad looking plant. All the rubbish have been taken off from the sea, the weeding, putting into these 2 cages here at the end, just trying to keep them in, keep trying to break it down, it is open to the air. There's a lot of weeds in it. I don't know how hot that's going to get, if anything, but we might get something usable out of it towards the end of the season, and we can at least spread it across a bit of the bed anyway. So I've got got the old compost in place idea there, where we had a few ridge cucumbers, which we've got a few little things off. I think one might be a gherkin variety, so the other one, Market More, they're sort of little stubby little things, but I have not been able to keep on top of the watering as well as we could with the hot weather. So fingers crossed we might just get one cucumber off that. But yeah, so the idea of those two is just sort of like, transfer between as it kind of keeps on getting lower, piling it up. The other one was a bit more sort of the edge trimmings from the edging, and then putting the compost in the middle to kind of keep it hot. But again, it's kind of a ridge for a cucumber, so in theory it should be the perfect conditions. But again, it's been very hot this year, so maybe not. After that, we've obviously got some of the stuff we've kind of got in the bags over here. Potatoes have died off the early varieties in there. Got them weeds out the top of that. And again, the old bed in the middle, autumn, when things die down, I'm going to have to definitely rip that out. There's a couple of main crop potato bags here, so they're just keeping those in there as sort of spare stock. The Jerusalem artichokes in this bag have gone crazy. I mean, probably not as tall as you would expect, maybe in ground, but I think that's pretty good. So there are a lot of plants in there, a lot of tubers, because I didn't want them to, die off. I need to get them in the ground. But I'm wondering that that's not a bad solution for not then having Jerusalem artichokes in the ground forever. Because once you've got them like a perennial crop. So that's not a bad idea. It's a pretty sizable tub. Same as that one with the obviously failed main crop potato, but they're not bad at all size-wise. And I think if you had slightly less tubers, you'd get a bit more bang for your buck. So that's at least one way of keeping them under control and still getting, the harvest that you want. Now, these are the sort of hotbed kind of dwarf beans that we had with the experiment from the cloches, and they've come. We've got to finish those off today, but they are great. We've had such a good harvest off these. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of beans, and these were started off early under those glass cloches, which we've got the you can see over there with the peppers in. And we had one cloche in here, and we managed to get them all covered. Avoided at least one or two frosts. There's a video, try and put a link onto it above, which was the one that showed the comparison between the ones that were outside the cloche and inside the cloche. And it was chalk and cheese. The ones that were outside the cloche were knocked back. The ones in the corner here, much smaller. The ones in the middle have absolutely run riot. Massively happy with that little experiment there, and I think definitely going to make a lot more use out of those glass cloches going forwards, particularly at the end of the season for overwintered salads, and at the beginning of next season for salad crops and some of these other crops as well, like the French beans. Just, absolutely tons and tons and tons of the beans are everywhere in it. Even though the plants have gone over now, there's still a good sizable amount, and maybe even if I can't get all the way through the fresh ones, I might have a few for dried beans. So, quick update, I appeared, although much less bearded, in Kitchen Garden magazine for July this month. So I did write off and ask them if they wouldn't mind considering putting some stuff in, and they very kindly asked a set of questions, and I filled it all out and completed it, and got myself in the press. So if you haven't managed to get yourself a copy, then see if you can go and still get one from the Sainsbury's or your newsstand, and see if you get a copy. But yeah, thanks to Kitchen Garden magazine for sticking my ugly fizzog in it. It was quite a surprise to see they used the whole of it. I was quite surprised, but it was a nice little, a really nice surprise for July, which has been quite a challenging month. So thanks to Kitchen Garden magazine for doing that, and oh well, something to put in a photo frame for when I'm older anyway. Once again, thanks for watching today on Beans, Brews and Bread. If you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, and you've seen the video for the first time, do press the subscribe button. You'll be notified the next time we've got a video out. But thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time. Bye!